The blue-white light of the approaching alien vessel reflected in Ambassador Samuel Wright's eyes as he stood at the viewing port of the United Earth ship Harmony. His face remained calm, practiced from years of diplomatic service. But inside, his heart raced. This was the moment humanity had waited for, first contact with an advanced alien civilization. "They're hailing us again, sir," said Communications Officer Lisa Bell. "The Aloran representative seems eager to begin talks." Samuel straightened his formal jacket. "Put them through on the main screen." The alien that appeared had smooth blue skin and large, expressive eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. The universal translator picked up the musical tones of the alien language. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Speaker Nalara of the Aloran Collective, representative of the Galactic Union. We welcome your species to the greater cosmic community." Samuel bowed slightly, a gesture his team had practiced extensively. "The people of Earth are honored by your welcome, Speaker Nalara. We come with open hands and hopeful hearts." Behind him stood the carefully selected first contact team. Dr. Olivia Patel, a brilliant xenobiologist with kind eyes that hid a razor-sharp mind. Lieutenant Eric Morgan, whose relaxed posture belied his constant threat assessment, and Dr. Leon Carter, an engineer whose fingers twitched with the desire to examine alien technology. The meeting took place in neutral space, aboard a specially constructed habitat where both species could breathe comfortably. As Samuel led the human delegation through the airlock, he whispered to his team, "Remember, we are peaceful explorers, nothing more." Speaker Nalara greeted them personally, her blue hands pressed together in a gesture of respect. "Your signals have reached us for many of your years. We have watched your television, heard your music. You are a species of great creativity and compassion." Samuel smiled warmly. "We are eager to learn from the Galactic Union and share our culture with you." What Samuel didn't say was that Earth had detected the alien observation platforms at the edge of the solar system 3 years earlier. The world governments had quickly united not in fear, but in recognition of an opportunity. Operation First Impression had begun, a careful curation of all broadcasts leaving Earth, presenting humanity as peaceful, unified, and culturally focused. For 3 days, the human team met with representatives from the Galactic Union. They learned that the Union comprised 32 spacefaring species, most having evolved beyond warfare centuries ago. Their society centered on scientific advancement, cultural exchange, and the preservation of diverse life forms throughout the galaxy. Dr. Olivia Patel spent hours in the Aloran Biological Research Center, her eyes wide with genuine wonder. "Your understanding of cellular repair is remarkable," she told her Aloran counterpart, a scientist named Kelrath. "On Earth, we still struggle with many diseases. We would be happy to share some basic medical knowledge," Kelrath offered, his large eyes blinking slowly. "It troubles us to think of your people suffering needlessly." Olivia's smile was sincere. That would be incredibly generous. Later that night, in the private quarters assigned to the human delegation, Olivia downloaded the medical data to a secure drive. "This is revolutionary," she whispered to Samuel. "Their approach to genetic therapy could advance our medicine by a century." "And their defensive capabilities?" Samuel asked Lieutenant Morgan, who was scanning their quarters for listening devices. Eric's face remained neutral. Impressive, but focused on deflection rather than damage. "They haven't fought a war in over 500 years. Their shields are designed to protect against natural space phenomena, not weapons." Dr. Leon Carter looked up from the small device. He had been given as a gesture of goodwill, a simple energy converter. "Their power generation is elegant, but there are military applications they've clearly never considered." His eyes gleamed with possibilities. "Give me 6 months with this, and I could design weapons they wouldn't even recognize until it was too late." Samuel nodded, satisfied. "Good. Remember, our job is to make friends, to make them trust us completely." He glanced at the digital clock on the wall, synchronized to Earth time. "The Council of Nations expects our first secure report in 12 hours. Make sure you document everything." On the 5th day, Speaker Nalara invited Samuel to address the Galactic Union Council. an honor rarely given to non-member species. Galactic Council chamber was vast, with representatives from all 32 member species seated in ascending rings. Some appeared nearly human, others were utterly alien. Beings of crystalline structures, floating gas clouds contained in mechanical shells, and things Samuel couldn't even describe. He stood on the speaking platform, feeling the weight of Earth's future on his shoulders. Distinguished members of the Galactic Union, Samuel began, his voice strong and clear. I bring greetings from Earth, a planet that has weathered its own troubles and emerged with hope for a peaceful future among the stars. He spoke of Earth's art, music, and literature. He described how humans had overcome their divisions to form the United Earth Government. He mentioned nothing of the wars that had shaped human history, nothing of the military-industrial complex that still thrived beneath the surface of this new peaceful facade. We ask not for technology or power, Samuel concluded, but for friendship and the chance to learn from your wisdom. Earth extends its hand in peace. The chamber erupted in the various sounds of alien approval, clicks, hums, flashing lights, and translated words of welcome. Later, the Galactic Council voted to grant Earth probationary membership in the Union. As a gesture of goodwill, they provided limited technological assistance, cleaner energy production, basic space folding theory, for faster travel and medical knowledge. This is more than we hoped for, Dr. Carter whispered, his eyes scanning the technical specifications they'd been given. On their final night aboard the Union station, Samuel received an encrypted transmission from Earth. He entered his private quarters and activated the secure communication device hidden in his personal items. General Helen Ward's face appeared on the small screen. She was the head of Earth's Unified Military Command, though the Galactic Union had been told she was simply the Secretary of Global Cooperation. Report, Ambassador, she said without greeting. Better than expected, General. They believe our presentation completely. The Union has granted us probationary membership and shared technology as a show of good faith. General Ward's expression remained stern. Assessment of their military capability? Minimal, Samuel replied. They've evolved beyond warfare. Their technology is advanced, but they've never considered its weaponization. The Union's ships are faster than ours, but they're not armed. They rely on automated defense systems that haven't been tested in real combat for centuries. A rare smile crossed the general's face. Excellent. The President and Joint Chiefs are pleased. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. She leaned closer to the screen. Maintain the peaceful facade. Return to Earth with the technology. Phase 2 begins upon your arrival. Samuel nodded, feeling a brief moment of doubt as he thought of Speaker Nalara's genuine kindness. He pushed the feeling aside. Understood, General. For Earth. For Earth, she replied before the screen went dark. The next morning, Samuel shook hands with Speaker Nalara as the human delegation prepared to board their ship for the journey home. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship between our peoples, Nalara said, her large eyes full of hope. Samuel smiled warmly, the perfect picture of diplomatic sincerity. I believe you're right. Earth looks forward to a long and peaceful relationship with the Galactic Union. As the Harmony pulled away from the station, Lieutenant Morgan stood beside Samuel at the viewing port. Do you think they suspect anything? Eric asked quietly. Samuel watched the alien station grow smaller in the distance. Not at all. They see what they want to see, another peaceful species to join their community. He turned away from the port. They'll never know what hit them. 5 years had passed since humanity's first contact with the Galactic Union. Earth had transformed in ways visible to all, and in ways hidden from alien eyes. Chef Natalie Rivers smiled as cameras recorded her cooking show, Flavors Across the Stars. Her kitchen gleamed with both Earth and alien equipment as she mixed ingredients from 3 different planets. Today we're making what I call Centauri sweet rolls, she explained to her audience of humans and visiting aliens. The purple, grain from Proxima Centauri gives these a nutty flavor that pairs wonderfully with honey. The show was broadcast across Earth into 17 Union worlds. Chef Natalie had become one of humanity's most recognized ambassadors of culture. What the cameras didn't show was the small communication device hidden in her kitchen, or the military officers who reviewed her footage before broadcast. Every cultural exchange was carefully monitored. Every visiting alien was tracked. Earth showed only what it wanted the galaxy to see. In a classroom at the newly established Galactic Studies University in Geneva, Professor Daniel Butler lectured to a mixed class of human and alien students. Cultural understanding requires openness, he told them, his voice warm and engaging. Earth has much to learn from the Union, and we hope we have wisdom to share as well. An Ellerin student raised her hand. Professor, how has Earth adapted so quickly to galactic society? Most species take decades to integrate. Daniel smiled. Humans are naturally curious and adaptable. It's our greatest strength. What he didn't say was that humanity's adaptability had been forged through thousands of years of warfare. Humans learned quickly, because failure meant death. After class, Daniel entered his office and locked the door. He placed his palm on what appeared to be a normal picture frame. The wall slid open, revealing a small communication room. He sat down and entered a series of codes. Weekly report, Professor Butler, came the voice of General Ward. The exchange program is proceeding as planned, Daniel reported. 17 more alien students have enrolled for next term. Their focus areas align with our intelligence gaps. 5 in energy systems, 3 in communication technology, and 9 in various biological sciences. Excellent. Continue monitoring and report any concerns. Beneath the icy surface of Jupiter's moon Europa, hidden from Union observation satellites, Admiral George Blackwell walked through the largest shipyard ever built by human hands. The cavern stretched for miles, carved out by machines that officially didn't exist. Workers in specialized suits moved across the skeletal frames of warships. Sparks flew as they attached armor plating designed using principles reverse-engineered from Union technology. How long until the first fleet is ready? Admiral Blackwell asked the woman walking beside him. Major Catherine Powell consulted her tablet. The first 20 destroyers will be operational in 3 months. The larger carriers require another 6 months. The stealth systems are still being refined. Blackwell nodded, watching as a massive weapons array was lifted into position on the nearest ship. And the troops? The Stellar Marines have completed their 6th training cycle. 10,000 combat-ready soldiers trained for various atmospheric conditions and gravity levels. Pride crept into Powell's voice. They're the best fighting force Earth has ever produced. They need to be, Blackwell replied grimly. The Union has numbers we can't match. Our advantage is that they've forgotten how to fight. We haven't. In a secure facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Alexander Harris stood before a large transparent tank. Inside floated what appeared to be a normal shuttle until he pressed a button on his control pad. The shuttle shimmered and disappeared. The cloaking technology is now stable for up to 72 hours, he explained to the observers behind him. The power requirements have been reduced by 40%. Samuel Wright, now Earth's official ambassador to the Galactic Union, nodded in approval. And they can't detect it? We've tested it against all known Union sensor technology. To them, it simply doesn't exist. Samuel's face remained neutral, but satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. Excellent. Continue the work. Later that same day, Samuel attended a public celebration marking 5 years of Earth's membership in the Galactic Union. The event took place in the Grand Plaza of New York City, decorated with flags of Earth and the Union. Speaker Nalara, who had remained Earth's primary contact, addressed the crowd. The Union has been enriched by humanity's unique perspective. Your art, music, and philosophy have spread across the stars, building bridges between worlds. Samuel took the podium after her, his expression warm and open. And Earth has been transformed by the friendship of the Union. We have learned so much and grown as a global society. We look forward to centuries of peaceful cooperation. The crowd applauded. Cameras broadcast the event across Earth and to distant worlds. Behind his diplomatic smile, Samuel thought of the fleets growing in secret, of the weapons being forged in darkness. That evening, in the privacy of his secure office, Samuel received an urgent communication from General Ward. The Drell Consortium has formally requested mining rights in the Kuiper Belt, she informed him without preamble. Their survey ships have identified significant deposits of rare elements. Samuel frowned. How close will they be to our shipyards near Neptune? Too close. If they establish permanent operations, our activities will be exposed. Can we deny their request without raising suspicion? General Ward's expression hardened. The President believes this presents an opportunity. If we approve their request, we can place our people within their operation. When the time comes, it will give us control of a strategic location. Samuel considered this. A Trojan horse. Exactly. Chief Engineer Frank Nelson has been selected to lead our team within the Drell operation. He'll ensure we have access to their communications and defense systems. Samuel nodded slowly. I'll inform the Union that Earth welcomes the Drell mining operation as another step toward galactic cooperation. Good. This development accelerates our timeline. The intrusion into our system cannot be allowed to become established. General Ward's voice was steel. Initiate Phase 3. The words hung in the air between them. Phase 3. The beginning of humanity's true revelation to the galaxy. Understood, Samuel said quietly. For Earth. 3 weeks later, Samuel stood in the observation lounge of the Union Embassy, watching as Drell ships entered Earth's solar system. Beside him stood Speaker Nalara, her large eyes filled with excitement. This is a historic moment, she said. The first major economic partnership between Earth and another Union species. Samuel smiled. Yes, truly historic. The beginning of a new chapter in our relationship. Nalara turned to him, her expression serious. Some members of the council questioned whether Earth was ready for such rapid integration. I assured them that humans are peaceful and eager to join galactic society as full partners. You were right to trust us, Samuel replied, his voice sincere while his thoughts raced ahead to the plans already in motion. Earth only wants peace and prosperity for all species. As the Drell ships moved deeper into the solar system, Samuel discreetly checked his secure communicator. A message had arrived from Fleet Command. Operation First Blood Crews on standby, awaiting final authorization. Samuel looked back at the approaching ships. The Drell, the Union, the entire galaxy. None of them understood what humanity truly was. They had invited wolves into their peaceful flock, mistaking bared teeth for a smile. Is something wrong, Ambassador? Nalara asked, noticing his momentary distraction. Samuel turned to her with his practiced diplomatic smile. Not at all. I was just thinking about the future. The Drell mining facility hung against the black backdrop of space, its lights twinkling like stars. After 6 months of construction, the operation had reached full capacity. Massive processing units extracted rare minerals from the captured asteroids while transport ships came and went in a carefully choreographed dance. Chief Engineer Frank Nelson stood at the main control center, his human hands moving across alien technology with practiced ease. The Drell had welcomed his expertise, never questioning why Earth had sent one of its best engineers to assist with what was essentially a simple mining operation. Production has increased by 12% this cycle, Frank reported to the Drell supervisor, a tall being with gray skin and 4 arms. The new extraction method is working well. Excellent work, Engineer Nelson, the supervisor replied. The consortium is pleased with the cooperation between our species. Frank smiled. That's what we're here for. Cooperation. What the Drell didn't know was that beneath Frank's friendly exterior lay a military mind trained for one purpose. For 6 months, he and his team of 20 humans had been preparing for this day. Every system on the facility had been quietly modified. Every communication channel now contained a hidden backdoor. Every defense mechanism had a carefully designed weakness. In his private quarters that night, Frank activated a small device that blocked all surveillance. He pressed his palm against a hidden scanner in his personal tablet. Sleeper Cell Kuiper reporting. he said quietly. All preparations are complete. The encrypted response came immediately. Understood. Operation First Blood commences in 12 hours. Confirm readiness. Frank took a deep breath. After months of playing the friendly engineer, the moment had finally arrived. Confirmed. All systems compromised. Team is ready. Good. For Earth. For Earth, Frank replied before destroying the evidence of the communication. The next morning, Frank gathered his human team for what appeared to be a routine inspection. As they moved through the facility, he quietly gave each person their final instructions. Ryan Bennett, who had spent months building relationships with the alien workers, positioned himself near the main communications array. Lisa Young, who had impressed the Drell with her technical skills, waited near the power distribution center. Each human knew exactly what to do when the signal came. At the edge of the solar system, hidden in the shadow of a small moon, 20 stealth destroyers waited. Captain Diane Edwards stood on the bridge of the lead ship. The deception. Her expression. Calm but alert. All ships report ready, Captain, her first officer informed her. Diane nodded. Maintain stealth protocols. No communications until we receive the signal. For 6 hours, the fleet waited in perfect silence. Then, a single burst. Transmission reached them. Trojan activated. Captain Edwards straightened in her chair. All ships disengage stealth protocols. Full power to engines. Operation First Blood has begun. The destroyers emerged from hiding, their engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. They moved, in perfect formation toward the mining facility. Inside the facility, Frank checked his watch and nodded to Ryan. It was time. Ryan activated a small device attached to the communications array. Instantly, all outgoing signals from the facility were blocked. At the same moment, Lisa triggered her device at the power center, causing emergency systems to activate throughout the station. Alarms blared as confused Drell workers rushed to their stations. The supervisor approached Frank with concern in his 4 eyes. What's happening? Our communications are down. Frank's friendly mask fell away, replaced by cold efficiency. I suggest you gather your people in the main hall. This will be over soon. Before the supervisor could respond, the facility shook as magnetic clamps attached to the outer hull. The sound of airlocks being forced open echoed through the corridors. What is the meaning of this? The supervisor demanded, fear replacing confusion. Frank drew a small weapon from beneath his uniform. The meaning is simple. This facility now belongs to Earth. Armored figures poured through the entry points, human soldiers in space combat, gear moving with practiced precision. Unlike the peaceful diplomats the galaxy had come to know, these humans moved with predatory grace, weapons raised and faces hidden behind tactical visors. The facility was secured in less than 15 minutes. Not a single shot was fired. The aliens, unprepared for violence, surrendered immediately. Captain Edwards strode into the control center, her uniform crisp and decorated with insignia the Drell had never seen before. Status report, she demanded. Frank saluted sharply. All systems secured, Captain. 53 alien workers detained. No casualties. And the data systems? Intact. We have access to the entire Drell network. Edwards nodded with satisfaction. Begin the download. I want everything. Star charts, defense protocols, ship movements. As human soldiers guarded the confused aliens, others worked at the control stations, extracting information that had never been shared with Earth. The peaceful mask of humanity had been pulled away, revealing the efficient military machine beneath. In the detention area, the Drell supervisor watched in shock as humans transformed before his eyes. The friendly engineers who had worked alongside them were now cold-eyed soldiers. The helpful assistants were revealed as trained infiltrators. Why? He asked Frank when the engineer came to inspect the prisoners. The Union welcomed your species. We shared our knowledge. Frank looked at him with neither malice nor compassion. It's nothing personal. Earth needs resources and strategic positions. Your mining operation provided both. But there was no need for this. The Union would have negotiated. Negotiations take time, Frank interrupted, and they rarely give you everything you want. This way is more efficient. 3 days passed before news of the attack reached the Galactic Union. By then, human forces had captured 3 more outposts in the solar system. Each fell with the same precision: infiltration, communication blackout, and swift takeover. At the Galactic Union headquarters, Speaker Nalara burst into Ambassador Samuel Wright's office, her usually calm face twisted with shock and grief. "Is it true?" she demanded. "Has Earth attacked the Drell mining facility?" Samuel's expression showed perfect surprise and concern. "Attacked? No, that can't be right. There must be some mistake." "There is no mistake, Ambassador. We've lost contact. With 4 facilities in your system, the last transmission from the Kuiper operation reported armed humans boarding their station." Samuel shook his head, his performance flawless. "This is terrible news. It must be terrorists or separatists. The Earth government would never authorize such actions." "Then explain why all communication with Earth has suddenly been restricted. Explain why our ships are being denied entry to your system." Before Samuel could fabricate another explanation, his communication device chimed. He glanced at it, then back at Nalara. "Excuse me, Speaker. This may provide some answers." He activated the screen on his desk, allowing Nalara to see the transmission. The face of Fleet Admiral Patricia Hawkins appeared, stern, confident, the uniform of Earth's military displayed proudly. "Ambassador Wright," she said formally. "The initial phase of Operation First Blood has been successfully completed. You are instructed to deliver our message to the Galactic Union." Samuel's diplomatic mask fell away, revealing a cold smile that shocked Nalara. "I understand, Admiral. The message will be delivered." The Admiral nodded sharply. "For Earth." "For Earth," Samuel replied before ending the transmission. He turned to Nalara, who had backed away from him, her large eyes filled with the dawning horror of betrayal. "What have you done?" she whispered. Samuel straightened his uniform jacket, no longer bothering with the pretense of friendliness. "What we've always done, Speaker Nalara. We've adapted to survive. And now I suggest you gather the Council. Earth has a message for the galaxy." The great chamber of the Galactic Union Council fell silent as Ambassador Samuel Wright took the podium. Representatives from 32 spacefaring species watched with expressions ranging from confusion to horror. News of the human attacks had spread across the galactic network, but many still couldn't believe the peaceful humans had suddenly become conquerors. Samuel stood tall, no longer wearing the friendly smile that had become his trademark. Instead, his face showed the confidence of a predator who no longer needed to hide. "Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Union," he began, his voice clear and strong. "For 5 years, you have known a version of humanity that we allowed you to see. Today you will meet the real Earth." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Speaker Nalara, her blue skin pale with stress, rose from her seat. "Ambassador Wright, the Union demands an explanation for the unprovoked attacks on Drell mining operations and the seizure of Union outposts in your system." Samuel's laugh echoed through the chamber, shocking the aliens who had never heard such a cold sound from him. "Unprovoked? The explanation is simple, Speaker. Your Union entered our solar system without understanding what humanity truly is. You judged us by your standards, never considering that we might be playing by different rules." On a large screen behind him appeared the image of a human fleet, warships unlike anything the Union had seen before, arrayed at the edge of the solar system. This is the Earth Defense Fleet, commanded by Fleet Admiral Patricia Hawkins. 27. Ships of war built while you thought we were learning to make music and cook your food. Fear rippled through the assembly. The Quarian representative, a being of crystalline structure, stood next. "This is a violation of all Union principles. You presented yourselves as peaceful," Samuel smiled, "and you believed us. That was your first mistake." At that moment, across 3 star systems beyond Sol, coordinated attacks began. Human warships, hidden using technology the Union couldn't detect, emerged near key outposts and stations. The Stellar Marines, under Colonel Abigail Foster's command, boarded each facility with ruthless efficiency. Unlike the peaceful species they faced, These humans moved with the instinctive understanding of violence that came from evolving as predators. They didn't hesitate. They didn't negotiate. They simply took what they wanted. Back in the council chamber, reports of the attacks began to flood in. Panic spread among the representatives as they realized the extent of the human deception. "What do you want?" the Aloran counselor asked, his voice shaking. "Why this betrayal after we welcomed you?" Samuel walked slowly around the podium, enjoying the moment when prey realizes it's been trapped. What does any expanding species want? Resources, territory, security. He gestured to the screens showing human forces taking control of Union facilities. "Your Union has existed for centuries in peace because you never met a true competitor. Earth has fought wars since before we could write. Conflict is in our blood." On a distant Union science station, Professor Zinthal of the Medusan species watched the human soldiers secure the facility with frightening speed. As the station's chief sinologist, he had studied many species but never understood humanity until this moment. He activated his private research terminal, accessing Earth's history that had been shared as cultural exchange. Now, with new eyes, he saw what they had missed. The endless wars, the glorification of warriors in human entertainment, the military metaphors embedded in their language. "How did we not see?" he whispered to his assistant. "They evolved as apex predators on a death world. Their bodies are built to hunt, to kill. Even their eyes face forward like all predator species." Across the galaxy, Union scientists began the same desperate analysis. Too late. They understood the warning signs hidden in plain sight. Meanwhile, Commodore Kyle Martinez led a fleet of human warships toward the Union's primary communication hub in the Orion sector. His tactical display showed the Union's defensive fleet, larger in numbers but lacking in combat experience. "They're trying to establish a defensive formation," his tactical officer reported. "Standard Union protocol, exactly as our simulations predicted." Kyle nodded, unsurprised. "Execute Battle Plan Alpha. Target their command ship first." The human vessels broke formation, moving in patterns that confused the Union sensors. Their weapons, based on Union technology but modified by human military engineers, struck with precision. The battle lasted less than an hour. The Union ships, designed for exploration and scientific research, were no match for vessels built specifically for war. As the Union communication hub fell under human control, a surprising development occurred in the Arcturus system. The Thraxian species, long regarded as the philosophers of the galaxy, revealed a side no one had seen for millennia. Thraxian ships engaged the human forces, using combat maneuvers that matched the humans' own tactics. When human Marines boarded their primary station, they met organized resistance for the first time. Colonel Foster, leading the boarding party, found herself facing Thraxians wielding energy weapons with practiced skill. "I thought your species were pacifists," she said to a captured Thraxian commander. The alien's 4 eyes blinked slowly. "We chose peace after mastering war. Unlike your Union allies, we never forgot the lessons of combat. We kept the knowledge in our archives, hoping it would never be needed again." The resistance spread. The Thraxians began training other Union species, teaching combat arts preserved in their ancient records. What had begun as an easy conquest for humanity was becoming a genuine conflict. In Earth's command center, Chief Strategist Zachary Sullivan presented Operation Checkmate to the Leadership Council, a plan to strike at the Union's central government before the resistance could spread. "If we take their capital, we fracture their response capability," he explained, pointing to simulation results. "The Union has never faced a true war. They have no contingency for a decapitation strike." But Division Commander Laura Bishop interrupted with troubling intelligence. "We're picking up increased military activity from the Vrax hegemony and the Saurian Dominion, species outside the Union. They're watching our success against the peaceful worlds and preparing their own conquests." She displayed intercepted communications from these predatory species. "If we continue our aggressive expansion, we could trigger a galaxy-wide conflict. Multiple predator species, all fighting for territory. The peaceful era of the galaxy would end." The human leadership fell silent, considering the implications. What had begun as Earth's strategic expansion could trigger a dark age of warfare across hundreds of worlds. Samuel Wright, now returned to Earth as the architect of humanity's galactic strategy, studied the reports. The Galactic Union was reeling, but not defeated. The unexpected resistance led by the Thraxians was spreading. Other predatory species were preparing to enter the conflict. He looked up at the assembled leaders. We have a choice to make. We can continue our conquest and potentially trigger the collapse of galactic civilization, or we can leverage our military advantage to establish a new order. Fleet Admiral Hawkins frowned. What are you suggesting? A calculated deception, the best kind. Samuel's eyes gleamed. We present ourselves as the protectors of the Union against these other predators. We maintain our territorial gains, secure our resource needs, but position Earth as the defender of galactic peace. His smile was cold and calculating. The galaxy feared us as conquerors. Let them come to rely on us as guardians instead. 2 weeks later, Samuel Wright stood again before the remnants of the Galactic Council. This time, however, he came with a different message. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, he told them. Earth has demonstrated its power, but also its restraint. We could have taken everything, but instead we offer partnership on our terms. He displayed evidence of the other predator species preparing for war. You need us now. The peaceful Union cannot stand against these threats alone. Speaker Nalara and the other representatives looked at each other, understanding their terrible choice. Submit to human dominance or face extinction from multiple threats. You mistook our adaptability for pacifism, Samuel concluded. Now you must adapt to us.